I have this other theory that's wild, but there is a non-zero chance he was a Zodiac killer
Oh man.
because he moved to San Francisco in '68,
Right.
a few months before they started.
Oh.
He was a 28-year-old, very angry, loner, hyper-religious white man.
Wow.
Okay, yeah. Fits the bill.
And the killing stopped a few months before he met my mom.
Oh wow.
And then they got married, and then they started moving.
Whoa.
Wow.
Never stayed in the same jurisdiction.
Wow.
All right, hello, welcome to Standby with JJ and Francisco. We got a killer guest who's only in town now.
I know.
We're
That's why
doing
we
it
had
again.
especially so early. We're
Yeah.
doing an early edition of the podcast.
Yeah, we've
early
nabbed-
new edition.
We've nabbed him while he's here.
Thank you for coming.
Yes, thanks. We got Geoff Tate, who's our road warrior. He's out there. He's playing in Brooklyn on August 13th and 14th. Tours with Tom Segura. And overall, he's just put in a lot of years treading the boards
Yeah.
around the world. So how are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thanks
Yeah,
for
that's
coming
your
in.
camera over there. If you
Yeah,
wanna,
all
if you
right,
ever
hey,
want to
what's
look,
up?
if you want to do the, whatever, Modern Family, kind of like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
or Office, you
If you
can always-
if you want to break the fourth wall, it goes,
is
it goes
there.
right in there.
How are you? So, like, what are you in town for? Are you just here chilling or like you've
Yeah.
been doing shows?
I mean, I hadn't done anything in 2 years. you
Oh,
know?
okay.
Like
Yeah.
everything was done.
That's
I hadn't
true.
been here since the end of 2019,
Yeah.
and I just I needed a change of scenery for a little while.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
are you living here or are you?
No, but I've been here for 3 months.
Oh, okay. So you're kind of
Yeah, I sublet a room,
nice.
and this is the longest I've been here since I lived here. I did live here
So you did live here.
a couple of times.
Yeah, you've been back and forth a couple times.
Yeah. There was always some like event
Right.
Like
affected got-
personal or historical event?
personal. So I was here in 2010, and then I split up from my wife. and She
Right.
could afford the apartment, and I couldn't. So.
Oh.
So that's
I
how you
left.
decide who leaves.
And then I was here in 2014, and then my dad got sick, and my mom needed help taking care of, so I went back for that. And then then he died, and then the pandemic happened.
Oh wow.
Wow.
And-
It's like
Yeah.
it's like every little landmark. along
Wow.
the
Yeah.
way.
It comes
Yeah.
to LA. There's something. Is there something that attracts you from here? Like you want to.
It's the weather.
The weather. Yes.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Of course.
Yeah.
Where
There's
are
no
you
tornadoes?
originally from?
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
That's where I grew up,
Oh, okay.
essentially.
And that's where you're kind of basing yourself right now while you
Yeah.
figure out your next move out of the pandemic. So this was just a trip to LA to get the dust off.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
And I like it more now than I ever did before.
Oh,
It's
yeah?
nice to not. It's nice to be. It's the first time I've been here and haven't been broke,
Yeah.
Okay.
so that's fun.
That's
That
good. Yeah.
helps
It's
a
always
lot.
nice when you're not broke anywhere. I think. But
Yeah, but it's,
especially in LA.
it makes it. There's so much more to do here. When you're not.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. It's kind of like Vegas too. Like the worst thing is being in Vegas. And like, what's the point of going to Vegas if you don't have money or don't want to spend money? Like, don't
Right.
go because you literally have to pay for everything.
Yeah,
So
you
might
can't
as
just
well.
blag your way into. You can't just show up to every piece of entertainment and go, "But I'm a comedian."
Yeah.
Can you just let me in?
It ain't gonna work.
And
Yeah.
Stand
there
at
was
the
some-
back of the room.
I worked a week. I worked Vegas a couple of times, and one of the clubs was in a hotel where you couldn't even like order food. You couldn't like get pizza delivered to the hotel because they had a restaurant.
Oh wow.
And
So
it
you
was
had
like
to
a
order
union
from
thing,
them or
yeah.
something. Oh,
Wow.
So you
fuck.
couldn't get food. If you wanted to order food that wasn't from the hotel, you had to go out to the sidewalk and like wait for them out there.
Oh wow.
Oh
No.
wow,
It's such a
that's quite a crackdown.
yeah. It's
It's a pyramid scheme.
That's one
If
of
I'm
those
gonna
things
if I'm gonna get all the way out to the fucking sidewalk, then I'm just gonna go somewhere. Like
Yeah.
I've already
Right.
gone somewhere.
Yeah, the whole
Like,
point of the hotel room is that you don't
Yeah.
have to leave your room.
It took 10 minutes to get to the sidewalk. And then
Right.
there's a restaurant right there. There's another thing right there. Like, why are you making it? You're just driving home the point that there are so many other places to eat.
yeah.
Right.
You let it come to my room, eventually I will just order the room service.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's true. You gotta get you addicted to the
Yeah.
room service.
Get me used
Side
to
of
not
things.
having to leave.
Yeah.
Such a. But it was one of those old ones. I think it was the Riviera. It's gone now.
Oh, yeah, that's gone.
It was also the one where if you talk shit about it on stage, they would pull you aside after.
Oh,
Really?
really?
Yeah, some guy in a gray suit would be like, maybe don't be disrespectful to the venue. Okay.
Oh God.
I mean, if you look around, the venue's a bit disrespectful to all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, who's decided that I'm not just being playful about
Yeah,
it
I
anyway?
wasn't.
I'm not actually.
Yeah,
dragging-
yeah. No,
I
it was
was.
conflicting,
It was
yeah.
an indictment what I
Yeah.
was doing.
I mean, there's no playful way to call a place a toilet,
yeah.
but it's gone now. And
Right.
So it was because of you that it's gone.
Yes.
You
I
did-
really-
He called it out, and
I reminded 40 people 3 times that this place sucked, and they went out of business.
But one of those people was the commissioner of Vegas or
Yeah.
something. That's
Yes.
in part, So you know what? Let's destroy this thing.
Jeff Tate has a point. Let's shut it down.
Well, there's never the thing about the strip is there's never an oldest building on the strip for long.
That's
Once you're the oldest building on the strip, you're next.
Yeah.
You'll get torn down, and then that spot will be the newest building.
That's true.
And so it just like road goes up and then goes back and then goes up and then they just keep replacing it. So whatever the oldest one is now, if you want to check it out, do it quick.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
It won't be within a year or two before it's
That's
gone.
funny. That's very much a Vegas thing because you just reminded me of because like in Dubai they turn the buildings over a lot as
Yeah.
well, but they don't put new ones in that spot. It just doesn't become trendy anymore.
Oh.
So because Dubai's just built on a desert,
Yeah.
and they're just arrogant and cocky enough to just build in a new segment of the desert. So there's
Okay.
there's like the old Hard Rock Cafe building, which must have been hugely expensive. I think they stopped using it after a few years, and it's just got sand dunes blowing against it in
Wow.
a little corner
Oh,
of
really?
Dubai. So yeah,
so
you
it's
have,
not even working.
yeah, you have whole strips of Dubai where they've left it and they've just built something new, same brands. or
So they
anything.
don't leave it. They leave it just there to die.
Nah, it's like it's rich people, man. I think it's just rich people. They just
No, because in Vegas there's a Fremont Street. That's kind of like what it used to be, like
downtown.
the downtown. That was
Yeah.
like the cool part. So, but they left it there. So then,
Yeah,
Right.
those buildings are old.
yeah.
And it's no longer the cool part then? It's
no.
a
Well,
whole-
now it's kind of like it's cool things that you can
It
do
comes
around.
and goes. It's
Yeah.
always
Right.
been like, it's always been the cool part for, in the same way that like cool neighborhoods are cool, but it might not be trendy or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So like we know all the neighborhoods in LA, and there's the neighborhoods that are actually cool, and then the neighborhoods that are like rich cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, you want to live in West Hollywood? West Hollywood's cool,
Yeah.
but nobody can. Who can live there?
Yeah. It's very
Yeah.
expensive.
None of us can live
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to live like good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want to have 2 rooms in your
Yeah,
apartment or whatever,
It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
A pool or like a little garden, that's
or
crazy.
a parking space.
Yeah. Parking.
You're gonna have.
Oh,
Like,
well,
that's
what a luxury. Parking is such a luxury.
I mean, we know like how many like. Everybody lives in the valley. Everybody talks about how the
Yeah,
valley sucks,
yeah,
but
yeah,
everybody lives in the
yeah,
valley,
yeah, yeah.
and the valley doesn't suck.
And it doesn't suck. I live in the valley. It's great.
It's
And it's very
absolutely
close.
fine, right?
It's not that far either. Like people think it's
Yeah.
crazy far. Yeah, no, it's pretty easy.
I mean, how long
Yeah.
would it take to get to? Because you just go down and go over the hill.
I'm in the valley
Like
by
20
Studio
minutes.
City. It took me 15 minutes.
Yeah,
to get
it's
from
nothing.
here. Nothing.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
It took. I've been in Culver City for these 3 months. It took longer than that to get to here.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I first lived when I moved to LA.
I
Culver
like
City.
it there. I lived in Woodland Hills the first time.
Oh, wow, that's far.
And-
A little farther.
Yeah, that's further up the 101
Yeah.
than I thought.
Yeah.
And then I lived in Glendale the second time.
Okay.
So it's a little closer, the other side of the valley,
Yeah.
basically.
But
Right.
Culver City is more closer than everything.
Culver City's the best one I've been
Yeah.
in so far because it's got that beach air a little bit.
Yeah, and also it's like it's bad. Since I'm been here now, it's like there's so many new things, so many new restaurants and like that downtown Culver City. That wasn't what it was.
Yeah, Culver
Oh,
City's
yeah.
gotten nicer. hasn't
Nicer,
it,
yeah,
in the
yeah,
last
yeah,
few
for
years.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
very-
still on this side of the hill, so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
still
yeah.
tell because I just tell myself you can my place
Yeah.
in East Hollywood basically, but I still like it right now because it tells me that I get home quicker at
Yeah.
night. And I can get out to the gigs quicker without sitting in that traffic. But,
Mm-hmm.
you know, everybody does say it's not too bad, 15 minutes of traffic.
No, I mean, I think everything's traffic in LA, so it doesn't matter where
Yeah,
you
yeah.
live. So it's like you're always gonna have some traffic no matter what. If there was no traffic, it's pretty fast anywhere you go. Like with no traffic, I can go to Santa Monica from my house 20 minutes.
Yeah.
With no
Yeah, yeah.
traffic. So it's kind of like
Between Christmas and New Year's, everything is 20 minutes.
yeah,
away.
yeah. So it
Very,
doesn't matter.
very simple.
It's very
Everything else,
quick.
it could be
An hour to
it could be 3.
Yeah,
Like, it could be a fucking nightmare.
yeah, yeah.
Sometimes, but
yeah.
Yeah.
that's the thing about it's like they take it for granted because you go live anywhere else. And like they talk about the valley like it's the fucking Midwest.
Yeah, yeah.
Go to the Midwest.
Yeah.
There's in the valley. There's restaurants in every corner. There's 7-Elevens.
Yes.
Like you could still have a very convenient
Of course.
life.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And the grocery stores. It might be a little easier to park around.
Yes, exactly.
Get your neighborhood. It's your
Yeah,
neighborhood.
yeah.
You get
It's a
your
little
local
hotter.
bar and-
Yeah, it's
That's really
that's the
the
only
only-
thing. The
yeah.
only thing is a little hot. It's actually 20 degrees hotter from Santa Monica and Venice to like where? Like it's like a 20 degrees difference. So it is. But that's the only thing.
That's like driving around the whole country. You realize that everything. That's the best part about LA is that it's even when you're driving over the hill, you're sitting in traffic or whatever. Everything at least looks interesting.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
It's still cool. They don't flip the buildings like some neighborhoods they do, but
Yeah.
most of these houses and most of these buildings and a lot of these signs they've been up for 50 years.
Yeah.
There's
That's
so
true.
many buildings that and bars that I've been to in LA that blow me away because most of the bar is outside in a
Yeah.
cordon. It's not even built
Yeah,
up
yeah.
of 4 walls or anything. So the bar can actually be tiny, but the
Right, like you're
whole
from-
space that you're drinking and partying
Yeah,
in
yeah.
is huge.
So you're from Nova Scotia?
Yeah.
So the first time you came here and you saw a high school where the hallways were outside, probably blew your mind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
this-
Like,
yeah,
it's
of course,
so much
'cause-
better
Of course.
than all my hallways were inside.
Yeah.
All of them.
Freezing, all this stuff.
Yeah. Houses, bars, all that stuff. Like I always say, it looks like a holiday destination no matter where you go in LA, but that's why it's because so much of it. What do
Yeah.
we do we need 2 extra TVs? Put them outside. It'll be
Yeah.
fine. People can still watch
And also
the
because you
game
can
there.
actually do it because the weather
Yeah.
doesn't rain that much. So you can always know if it rains, it's just, oh, okay, it rained today out of 200 days.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. You can still put the TV out there.
Yeah.
And it's
pretty
and it's
crazy.
never gonna rain for a whole day.
No,
It's
no,
gonna
yeah.
rain for a little bit, and then it's gonna be the nicest day
That's
again
true, ever.
in an hour.
Yeah, it's
That's
ridiculous.
And then where I'm from, if it's gonna rain today, that's it for the day. It is going to be this all day.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
rain day. That's it. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
There's no
It's gonna be flooded out.
there's no extended period where it's like good to be outside. We get like a month in the spring and a month in the fall.
That's true.
The summer's brutal.
Yeah.
The winter.
Here you can always go like, you know what? I can go to the beach tomorrow. Like you don't have like in
Yeah.
other places you gotta it's today or we're fucked for the whole year. Like
yeah, you go to those like a New York beach or whatever. If it's like a good beach day in New York,
Yeah.
you're like, well, I'm just not going because this is everybody knows. This.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is going to be the most crowded place I've ever seen.
Is
Yeah.
there a big like outdoor festival or anything back in Cincinnati, or is there a
Like
where you
music
guys-
festival?
Yeah, where you guys have to like just keep your fingers crossed that you get good weather for the weekend and
Not anymore. There was one for a few years, and then I think the Pando sort of they canceled it for those years, and I haven't heard about it coming back yet. But
I
there
like
was
it
a
being called
3-day.
the Pando.
That's a
the,
cool-
the
that's a
trendy
cool
word
way
for the
to do it.
pandemic, man.
That's a cool
Yeah,
way
I mean
to do
it
it.
took.
the Pando did
It turned out I was saying it too much. I can't waste all my time saying the whole thing.
out. No, that tracks.
And
the
that-
Pando.
So did you start doing comedy in Cincinnati or
Yeah.
you did? Oh, okay. So you
Yeah. It's
started
not a
there.
bad place to start. It's pretty close to a lot of clubs.
Oh, really?
Like a 5-hour drive from like maybe 30 clubs.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool. And then did you move? You moved, but like, was LA the first time that you moved because of comedy, or
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
some? Okay, so it was,
I did live in Philadelphia for a little bit
okay.
after I started, but I didn't move there to do comedy.
Oh, okay.
It had something to do with
Alright.
my wife's parents.
Got it. Nice. So you started, and then so how long have you been doing comedy? Or started doing comedy since?
It's almost 20 years.
Oh wow,
Right on.
that's awesome.
And how long you been working with Tom Segura?
Well, on this tour started last September, and then I did a bunch of the ones in 19 also.
Okay, so you've seen the evolution then, because
Before the Pando.
last year.
Before the Pando, yeah.
Did the whole crowd have to be masked?
No, we
last
didn't
year?
do. No, it's kind of built around the places. There were some where people still wore masks, but it was just whatever the local mandate was. So like,
Right.
we
So it's
did
venue to
Madison
venue.
in Madison, Wisconsin, and Milwaukee. They were supposed to be masked. We keep it pretty locked down backstage. Like, there's nobody around us that isn't masked.
Right.
But then we're just around each other.
Yeah.
The touring group, the tour manager and the photographer and
Yeah.
security, and then me and Tom. It's just us. So as a group, we're like a little loose in our group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
But
what
it's just a
Yeah,
small
that's
group.
your
It's the
bubble.
bubble. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
yeah,
they always said during
Right.
the whole thing. Was
Yeah.
you have your bubble, and then that's
And that's fine. It was, yeah.
right. Because if one of us, and we still test pretty regularly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and we're trying to do it without getting it.
Of course.
Do you ever spot them from the stage too? If you're performing and it's an audience of like if they have the mask mandate and so you
Nobody
gotta
has
see-
one anymore.
So,
So it's
Yeah,
been a
that's-
long
yeah,
time.
nobody gives
Yeah.
a shit now, do they?
Yeah,
Even if
no,
it's
I think
no.
it's done, in
I'll tell
terms
you-
of like,
There's nothing scarier than hearing someone cough now.
yeah,
That's a scary noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
And-
sneeze.
Yeah, and you point it out and you can get a laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that happen to me in Britain. I was in a cinema. I was watching a film, but I always get a little bit of a dry throat about halfway through a movie. A little cough will come on if I don't have water.
Yeah, it's it's like a sterile room, and it's just air conditioning, and it will dry you out. Yeah,
And I felt, and I'm trying to stifle it. I'm trying to stifle the cough, but I can tell everybody's like, "Oh gosh," they think like you're turning into a zombie or something in front of them. People are sliding over. I feel like going, "It's not COVID.
Yeah,
I've been tested."
Yeah.
I smoke. It's from that.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine.
I'm sick of a lot of other stuff, but not COVID.
Right.
yeah,
I know.
but nobody's gonna not
yeah,
be
yeah.
paranoid. Everybody's like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I
it's happening.
started drinking and smoking again during the pandemic,
Right?
just so that I could have a reason why I felt like shit. Like when I wasn't doing that, and I would wake up and be like, "Oh, I'm run down," then I'd be paranoid, like, "Oh fuck, I got it somehow."
Yeah.
And then now, when I wake up and I'm like, "Oh no, I'm just hungover."
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
Sunday, I was like, "Well, I know why I feel like this.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
this is not that."
Yeah.
I know I did this to myself. I have a problem with authority too. Once somebody said, don't. It's a lung condition, and that's how it attacks you. So don't be smoking pot or anything like that. And I always go, fuck you.
I mean, it turns out that
side.
there's something that pot
That pot
does
does,
that makes
right?
it better for you.
Yeah, supposedly, yeah.
I remember that theory for a while because we were going through all our pothead friends and they hadn't caught it yet, and everybody who wasn't, dropping an edible here and there is getting sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's something.
That was the theory for a while. I think it started to fall apart a couple months ago when potheads finally started catching it.
Yeah.
But
Well, it got easier to catch.
Yeah, now it's
right,
like.
yeah.
So like the versions that are going around now are very easy to catch, but they seem. I mean, nobody knows anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
The
true.
second time I got it, it was nothing.
Nothing,
Like it
yeah.
didn't. I
they didn't
thought
feel-
I had the same symptoms I have if I sleep with a window open,
right.
which is like my throat's sore a little bit, but very dry.
Yeah.
I'm a little sniffly, and then I had a glass of water, blew my nose, and was
And
fine.
you're
And
fine.
off you
Yeah.
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 And then I was like kind of dragging,
Yeah.
took a nap, woke up, went back to bed. The next day,
Fine.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, then
Like, I
you just got to
had-
pass that test because I couldn't pass the test. I got rid of my symptoms in Britain at one point and couldn't pass that friggin' test.
Oh, like you?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. You're still like positive,
yeah,
but,
like
but you're not
still
sick. Yeah.
Got it somewhere, but you're like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not sick. Nobody in society would know if I went out and got on with my day.
Well, imagine all the viruses that you carry as a human being that you have that
Right.
nobody knows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah,
you
but that's why this one's different, is because this is what nobody has.
yes. Yeah.
That's why it's dangerous, and that's why there should have been, like, it's so frustrating because like if there is a reason to have government at all,
It's for this.
For this,
Yes.
Yeah.
and it failed us
Completely.
spectacularly.
Yeah.
Like to a degree that you could never imagine. You could never imagine a failure of this degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
then
also
it
the
happened
fact
in front of our faces, and it wrecked 2 fucking years of our life.
and the fact that there was also a blueprint that you could have seen from like what happened 100 years ago because of that span. Like literally the same thing. It's like, okay, let's study what they did and what they did wrong and not do it again. And literally it's like that people were like, no, let's do the same shit that they did back 100 years ago. It was
It turned out the doctors were trying to do the same stuff and the shitheads were doing the same.
Yes.
When they would teach us about the 1918 thing, they never told us about the people who were like, I ain't wearing a fucking mask. And it turned out there was a lot of them.
Yes, exactly.
And there were cities that were like, no, we're not fucking closing anything down. And then 100,000 people died.
Yeah.
Same fucking
And
problem.
it's crazy to me about the mask stuff too. It's like I always go like, so you mean tell me like the doctors, like if masks don't work, then doctors have been lying to us all this time and they just been wearing masks as
they're lying to themselves.
Yeah, so it's like, oh no, they're like, hey, so doctors were like, hey, look, nobody's paying, like it's not taking us seriously, so we have to wear something to make us look like we're fucking. It's like bullshit. It's like, of course the masks work, man. And the fact that people mask, then like after 2 years, people wear a mask or whatever, nobody was getting sick with cold and other stuff. It's like they didn't realize that shit. It's like, oh, because you're fucking wearing a mask, man.
And I swear, at first too, when the pandemic first hit, I remember seeing a lot of the mask facts. And I remember them being like kind of normal. Like there was just a respectable, like the mask isn't a cure-all, but it does help you 10 to 15%. That can go a long way.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing all that. And then I swear like 2 days later, it was one side was saying, no, they're 100%. And then the other side is like, no, they don't work at all. And I felt like a lot of us were going,
no
look,
room
how did this get accelerated so much? Like
there's no room for any reasonable, like nobody cares. If they say this will protect you 95%. Then people are like, well, that's not 100, so I'm not going to do anything.
Exactly.
It's like, but if you did it and I did it and we were together,
yes,
and we both have 95%, that's like exponential protection from me to you and you to me.
Exactly.
But
they're just still going, it's not 100 though, so fuck it.
they just like there's been a big failure in the last like 50 years in American society and politics of like individualism. And nobody wants to believe or behave as if they're part of a community.
Exactly.
They've been told this forever that they don't have to. And that they're not.
This is man. I mean, like this is so. I completely agree, and I always call it like the spoiled rich kid syndrome because I feel like, for example, like because I grew up, I was born in Venezuela, so and I moved here when I was 12, but I still grew up there. So just like in third world countries and stuff like that, when stuff, like or even like in Europe, because they actually have wars that happen in their country and they had to like live with stuff. So it's like when you grow up in a society like that stuff has happened, like. People grow up like, okay, there's stuff that sometimes we have to do that, I don't individually don't want to do it, but we have to do it for the better of the thing, and you can just like, fine, we'll do it. In third world countries, like, well, I have to do it because the government is not going to help us, so I have to fucking do that, shit like that. But here, where, like you said, everything has is kind of like when it's like, I mean, like a rich kid that's been give everything. So then you tell him like, all right, now he's like 25 years old and be like, you know what, now you can do this. He's like, what are you talking about? All my life I've been told that I can do whatever I want. Like, no, I'm not gonna. I don't care. And then that's what happened. Then it's like, and then multiply that by 100.
And then it's like also the why do I have to do that?
And then why do I have to do it?
And then you just say because it will help.
Yes.
Oh, it'll help, but it won't fix.
Yeah.
So then I don't want to do it unless it's a perfect fix for everything.
And I not just want to do it on my meal, like he's saying. It's all individual. It's like. I don't care that it's gonna save people. It's annoying that I have to wear this mask or that I have to like not go out for like a month because so the hospitals don't get inundated or whatever it is,
Yeah.
So.
They say like the thing they never should have said. Wearing a mask protects other people. That was when people were like, well, then I'm not going to do it.
That's true.
It doesn't protect me. I'm not going to do it.
Exactly.
And if they should have just lied and said, if you wear a mask, it will protect you.
100%.
Everyone's got to wear it and it'll protect you.
Yeah.
But then like I knew people or I would see people that, I got a job at an amusement park in the fall of 2020. I was so bored. And I found this thing I could do on Saturdays and Sundays outside.
Yeah.
And I would just stay outside.
Yeah.
So I felt pretty safe. Everybody had to wear a mask. Everybody in the park was supposed to wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
And then people would constantly argue it. They would yell at me about the rule, and I
They're
just
angry and they don't know who they'll even take it out on allies.
yeah, but
basically.
I don't even care. Like, go ahead and yell at me because I knew that wasn't like a job I couldn't get fired from.
Of course, yeah.
And I also knew that whatever if they were going to complain about me, it was never going to be about me. It was still just going to be about the mask.
The mask thing,
later.
Yeah.
So I could say whatever I wanted.
Yeah,
And that was fun.
That's
Your
perfect.
staff member is pushing the rules.
Yeah. What are they like? Because I mean that happened a couple of times. Like a manager or like a supervisor. It's like my boss was like 18, and he would come by and be like, "What's going on?" And then I would just be like, "Tell him," and then they would be like, "That's the thing about the mask or whatever." I'm like, "See, whatever I said that escalated it, that never got brought up. They were still just mad about the mask.
Right.
There would be people like kids would be like, they'd have their mask, they would not have their mask on. I'd be like, "Can I put?" I was like, "Yeah, you gotta put your mask on. Don't." Because if they would come near me without their mask, I'd just be like, "You gotta put your mask on. Don't fucking stand near me without your mask. It's the rule."
Yeah.
And I also am here, like, I don't want to I'm just bored. Like, I don't give a fuck about your day or any of this shit. I'll just leave.
Yeah.
And one kid put it on his eyes, and I was like, just put it on right. And he goes, but your eyes, it still gets through your eyes. And I go, I don't give a fuck, kid. Like, you know how to wear it. You know that's not how you wear it. You're just being a prick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think you're funny, and you're not. Like, you have no idea that I'm the fucking wrong person. Like, I actually know what is, and this isn't.
Yeah.
You just look like a dickhead.
Yeah.
Like, now I hope you
it's in through your eyes.
Not as much, maybe. Wear some fucking sunglasses, bro.
Of course. The worst too much when people go like, I can't breathe. You know, like it's
That's
like
a
it
lot.
takes. Of course it is. I mean, like, so you're telling, like, again, going back to the doctors. In fucking emergency situations, ER, they have to be 24 hours in ER. They're wearing masks all the time. While operating, you think they don't have an oxygen? What the fuck are you talking about? It's like,
You're waiting in line for a roller coaster.
Yeah.
This guy put a pacemaker in my mom, and he had 3 masks.
Yeah.
He had my mom's chest open and was hooking something up to her heart. And you think I'm gonna buy any of your bullshit? Fuck off.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's another thing too.
I'm not ruining your day.
Yeah.
You're ruining your own day.
Yeah.
You're the one that came here knowing the rules.
Yeah. That's another thing
Which
too.
is a thing I can argue because of what happened at the Dead show. We didn't know those rules.
I can't wait
what
to talk
happened?
about this.
Okay.
Maybe let's do this because you talked about your Sunday hangover. So he and I, we went to the Grateful Dead or Dead End Company.
Dead End Company,
It was my first ever experience.
What is it?
It was at Dodger Stadium.
It's whoever's left from the Grateful Dead minus
with John
Bill Lesh
Mayer and all that stuff?
Yeah, John Mayer plays guitar. Artemis, I think his name's Artemis. He's a bass player. He used to play for the Allman Brothers. The drummers are the same. Bob Weir's still in the band. Bob Weir's basically the front man. John Mayer sings some songs. The bass player sings some songs. There's a lot of people on stage.
Nice.
Yeah.
They appear to be a pretty efficient band, as in they don't waste any time. What's the word? Rehearsing? They don't. It doesn't seem like they get together ahead of
Well,
time.
I mean, it's my.
Like they just meet up that day.
It
like,
was my first time watching them, and I did occasionally say it's like a rehearsal because,
it is.
because they're just jamming away, and I'm
okay,
like,
okay.
all right, I learned definitely why they're great music for just being high, and not being in a rush to go anywhere because the songs are taking 20 minutes.
You should be
All right.
spaced out because they are.
Yeah.
You might as well be too.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
but something angered. I would say 90% of the people in attendance at the.
Oh
at
man,
the-
there was. Dave talked to people that were in line up top, and there was like almost a full riot. Like people almost breached security
Why?
up top.
What happened?
So they were about 2 hours late letting us all in. So
They
people
did
were
not
queuing up.
open our gate until 7, and the show started at 7.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So we are in line at 6:20.
Which even there's people that could get there at 5 if you want to, and like you
The
even
doors are. It said the doors open at 5:30,
Yeah.
but what door opened at 5:30? And we couldn't we were passing lines that they were telling us we couldn't get in because of where our tickets were. So maybe there were lines that you could get in at 5:30, but the one that we were allowed to get into because of where our tickets were, they didn't open that gate until 7.
Wow.
The music started at 10 after 7.
Wow.
So we missed almost the whole first set. We were in line for 90 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. Everybody was. Everybody was getting very sarcastic. There was sections around the stadium that we could hear just getting sarcastic because they weren't getting in the venue.
Yeah.
But on top of that, we had they didn't tell us that they were going to confiscate things at Dodger Stadium. Now I looked it up and it does say no vape pens.
Yeah, yeah.
At the Dodger Stadium thing, but.
Okay.
They took everybody's cigarettes and lighters.
All right.
Right. I was bummed out that they found the weed, but I wasn't mad about that because that's the risk. Like I know that if this weed gets
might
caught,
make it or not. It's like when you leave out the house, you're like, you might make it or you might
but
not.
I'd never. I mean, I've been to the Forum. I've been to the Forum twice in these 3 months for 2 different shows, and I went to Staples for a show, and you don't have to empty your pockets there.
No.
And so and every other show I went to the Greek,
Hollywood Bowl.
Hollywood Bowl. I've been to Hollywood Bowl. Every show I've been to in the last 2 years, like every show I've ever been to, I've never had to empty my pockets. You take out what'll set off the alarm. Yeah, because they're just making you should
like
just be making sure you don't have a gun or a knife.
Of course. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But these motherfuckers made us empty our pockets. I saw,
and it's for a Grateful Dead concert. You're supposed to be high.
Yeah, and who's not gonna have, like, if you smoke or anything like that, who's not gonna have cigarettes even for after the concert?
Yeah,
Everybody's come to see a Grateful Dead gig at an outdoor, well, technically an outdoor venue being Dodger Stadium.
I mean, it's an outdoor venue,
and they're ruining.
Yeah, it's not inside the Staples Center.
Yeah, it was like they were doing like a precog thing, like to confiscate this off of people is like saying you guys will break the rules when you're in there, which it still blows my mind. Everybody's spending like $15 on packs of cigarettes, and the security is just taking them off of everybody.
And I got through, and then there was a third guy behind the thing that was like, now what's in those pockets? What's in those pockets? So I had made it past the first guy.
Oh, so there were 3 more. Also,
there was another guy behind.
Another pocket.
It was like, these pockets are full, and I pulled out some of the stuff. And I was like, oh, it's just this. And he goes, nah, there's more. There's like,
wow.
And I didn't know, like, he was behind me, so he had enough time to stash to like move to the back pocket.
So I had a jumper, a hoodie with me.
Yeah.
So I stashed stuff in the hoodie, put it in my hand, just to make it look like it was just cloth or whatever.
Yeah.
Put my metal shit in the tray.
Yeah.
And then he and Dave Waite in front of me, they were getting in shit. So I just got mine through, and it even beeped for me, and I just grabbed it and just walked. I put about 20 yards like in the distance while they were still getting the shakedown, just so that I could get my shit in. And in the end, 2 of us got our stuff in, and 2 of us did not.
And the lady in front of me, they took her the guy at the thing took her jacket and smashed up her whole jacket. So I moved everything out of my jacket into my pants pocket. Because it wasn't going to set off the alarm. And I figured if they were going to smash, but they didn't touch my jacket at all. If I had left it in my jacket, I might have been okay. But the guy, it was the cigarettes. Where the guy's like, you can't take those in, and I go,
that's crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, you can take cigarettes in the plane.
You could take them on.
Yeah,
anything.
That's what we were saying too. Imagine if
there's so many places
doing...
you can't smoke.
Of course,
that still let you. Chili's don't take your cigarettes away.
Yeah.
I don't fucking care.
Yeah,
it's just in my pocket. There's all like.
Yeah, that's weird.
I have a notebook in my pocket. I'm not going to write anything during this show.
Exactly.
None of this stuff is for right now.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I definitely would have smoked some of those cigarettes.
Of course, yeah.
But if they're like, don't smoke these.
But then you can just, sorry, I forgot, and then you just hand it.
Yeah, exactly.
But don't take away your whole pack.
Or just drop it and be like, it wasn't me. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Beat it.
Yeah.
But the guy, I go, you can't take the cigarettes. Like they're legal. They're legal. You can't take things that we're allowed to have. And the guy goes, this is private property, and that pissed me off because there's no way that the Dodger Stadium has no public funds.
Of course, yeah.
There's no fucking stadium in the country with no public funds, and you can't take public funds and then be private property. That should not be allowed.
That's true.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. I've never had to surrender
Right.
Yeah.
So I
Not
smoked, just so
easy,
you know, bro, I smoked 4 cigarettes in Dodger Stadium. They just weren't, you got the ones that I brought. But you're still a failure.
That is true. It became quite a thing of rebellion because then everybody's was passing a cigarette like it was a
So
joint.
it became a prison like currency, right? It's like
Whoever could get one in, it was like gold.
Yeah.
People are like,
it was like the Shawshank Redemption.
Man, if I was just last in line in our group, I would have got in so much more stuff. Have a couple of joints to be like, oh, you got me, and then the rest are in the back, right? You got to sacrifice something sometime.
yeah.
But it's crazy, even for that type of concert. It's not like you're gonna go see, I don't know.
It ain't fucking Joel Osteen, man.
Yeah, something like
This
that.
is the Grateful fucking Dead.
Yeah. And like you said, that you're supposed to be high because the songs are so long to even enjoy them or to even
Exactly.
smoke something. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But they like Dodger Stadium should fire their security because they lost $250,000 on concessions
That's true because
by
nobody.
keeping,
That's true.
10,000 people weren't in their seats until halfway through the first set
Yeah.
because of your security, because of it had that feel of they've never done a show here before, except that there was a show there the night before.
Yeah.
How the fuck?
yeah. Fix
I'm
the thing.
never going to Dodger Stadium again.
Yeah.
It felt like a conspiracy theory. Like if it was just our section, like these guys were just confiscating the cigarettes, even though you're
mean,
not
maybe it was a whole
supposed
plot to steal
so
the
they could
stuff
have a
and
whole
sell it.
bag of packs of
I mean,
cigarettes.
because they did, they're not throwing that in the trash. They're taking that with
Yeah,
them.
no, separate trash bags, right?
course.
So
No,
liquids
they're
go in
taking
one,
that.
But
They're
lighters and
taking
vape
all those
pens,
cigarettes, all the
cigarettes
weed,
are
all
in
the-
this one bag,
Yeah, of
ready
course.
to go.
I hope half those joints have fentanyl in them. I don't know how that would work, but
But hopefully, I hope they
fuck
choke on
those
it.
guys, man.
They fucking choke on it. So, but
But it wasn't a terrible show. Once we got in, it wasn't until the second set started
yeah.
that I was finally like that it had all, which was only like a hat full.
Also, you had to have a little bit of a laugh too because you were angry. We're
Yeah.
there for 20 minutes, and we could just. You just can't.
Well, you can't
ease
just like
up.
turn it off like that.
Exactly.
You'd be
So
like
your night's
pissed. Yeah.
They
ruined,
took the thing away that would have helped. I had to get rid of both things that would have calmed me down right away.
So then we just had to like kind of poke fun at him every now and then because you still occasionally you're just standing up and go.
Yeah, I would
and
the same
looking
thing.
around
Yeah, of
while
course.
everybody else is
I
like
would've been
jamming
the
to the
same way.
band.
I mean, I was working it out because and you've known Dave longer than me, and Dave's known me the longest of anybody in LA. And so he knows that, like, for me to have gotten this out in 30 minutes is pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm not, like, I would have still been mad about it today
Yeah.
if this was 10 years ago. Like, I would have been, like, trying to dox these motherfuckers or whatever. Like,
Well, it's 100% fucking
wanting
annoying
to.
because there's
I don't know how to
there's
dox
nowhere to
it.
go to. You can't feel like
Yeah, no,
even in
that's-
the
it's
face of
fucked
it,
up.
you can't be like, get me your manager or whatever because this is surreal.
Yeah, no,
This
you gotta,
can't
and
be right.
now you've been waiting for so long to get in. Like, fuck. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, fine, just
now
give
we
me
know why, and it's a little annoying that
Yeah.
all the people we saw walking back,
Yeah.
that none of them were like, hey, they're taking cigarettes,
Yeah.
let's stash your shit. They're throwing everything away. They're making us take
That's-
our vapes back to the car. Like,
That's
it's
what I was saying.
just
Really
as
annoyed
frustrating
me.
about them. Like, security,
Of
it
course,
sucks. Security sucks, but security is, that's the game, is how do you beat security?
Yeah.
And all these people who were,
Yeah.
there was 50 people that could have told us.
Of course, and that's the thing that I think that's a great thing to bring up because isn't that like an unspoken rule that like when you're something anywhere, it could be a concert, a baseball, even the airport, whatever, like there's always
Yeah.
that person that like, hey, that person that was in the first that got shit taken away, they'd be like, hey, by the way, they're taking stuff out, just so you know, because you always get that and you're like, oh, thank you, you know what I mean?
Nobody. There
Nobody
was no
said that shit.
teamwork. It really frustrated us because now that when we got through, and of course I couldn't shout it because I wanted to shout it, but I was too busy getting through, getting a good 20 yards on these guys while they were being patted down. But yeah, I can't believe nobody was like, they're taking cigarettes. That would have weirded everybody out because thousands of dollars worth of cigarettes must have just got in there. I've never heard of it. So yeah, no teamwork. Disappointed in you, dead fans.
Very, very, very bad.
Really
Very
should
bad.
Everyone's shell shocked though. I mean, the 50 people that walked past us could have just been tripping balls and been like, "Well, I can't. I already had a terrible interaction with somebody. I am not talking to anybody
That
else
is
again."
They're probably sweating. They're like, "Am I gonna? Is the FBI? The FBI got me." It's like, what? You know, they're not gonna fucking go like, hey, by the way, they're taking away cigarettes.
Yeah.
After the show, when we went to that bar, and I walked down to that gas station to get cigarettes. Like, there's people in this gas station. The line for the cigarettes at the gas station, like, it was the longest gas station line I've been in. I was probably 12th in line. Like, just everybody was buying cigarettes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the guy behind the counter, like, by the time I got up there, he was like, cigarettes? And I was like, yeah. He's like, everybody buying cigarettes. I'm like, yeah, man, everybody.
We had them fucking stolen.
I heard the people in line, they were talking, and they were all like, different groups were like, oh, there's a bar right here. Let's go to this bar. And the bar they were talking about, I read somewhere, was a cop bar.
Oh.
And so I told everybody that's a cop bar. I'm like, make your choice, but that's a cop bar.
So you actually did tell the thing that, yeah.
Right.
You don't want a bunch of fucking
Of course, yeah.
deadheads right after a dead show ending up at a bar filled with cops.
Yeah.
That's a real buzz.
Yeah. So I want to go back to like because I think it's like the first guest that we had that is touring differently than what other like how we tour, which is basically by ourselves.
Oh,
you know,
right.
like because I feel like you're not like you're touring with somebody else and you're going. And ways that you do it, like, because I think have you done like bus tours and stuff like that?
Yeah, we got a bus on the
so
got
that's
a bus.
Oh, really?
That's pretty cool because I never done
cool.
any of those tours.
I've never done a bus one.
A bus tour.
I think I would like
yeah.
that because.
So how do you like?
We love it. We're pretty we're a pretty chilled out group. Like if we leave after the show to drive to the next city, we'll like maybe spend a little time in the front. But within 20 minutes, Tom will go to his bunk, I'll go to mine. Like half of us will go to sleep.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And
right
there might
after
be
the show.
Yeah, the tour manager will probably be up still doing some business. There's some, he's always got his laptop out.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be some other people. The people on the tour, but generally we'll just or if we leave in the morning.
Yeah.
If we leave in the morning, I just get to the bus, put my stuff on, I'll fucking smoke cigarettes until we leave, and then as soon as we leave, I just go to my bunk and I go to sleep, and it's great. I like that little bunk. It's got the two vents on each side, one by my head and one by my feet.
Yeah.
All right.
Blows straight out. It's like a little coffin.
Uh-huh.
It's so cozy and comfortable.
So they are comfortable, those things.
Comfortable
Okay.
little coffin.
Yeah. Because I was wondering how
Bigger than a
comfortable.
coffin. I fit the whole way. Like, it's pretty close. Like, you're a little bit taller, so you might touch.
Yeah. But what's your favorite bit of this? Is it not having to check bags and stuff? Is it just
definitely not
having
check
to
bags.
have interaction with security guards or anything like that? Just knowing I just get on the bus.
I mean, that's the
arrive at
best.
the destination.
And then sometimes we'll fly on private chartered planes, and that's amazing.
Yeah, that's even.
Where we just an SUV will just drive us onto the tarmac.
Yeah,
That's
And then the
Yeah.
people from the plane will take our luggage and be like, you just make sure you have the thing you want in the cabin with you. Everything else goes under.
Wow.
And then you just leave.
Yeah.
No.
They might check IDs. Like if they've never, because he uses the same group a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So they might, if it's your first time on that plane or with that group, they might check your ID. But usually it'd just be like, oh, I'm Geoff. Hey, what's up? And they're like, oh yeah, I remember. Hi, nice to see you. And then they just check your name.
Oh, wow.
You got to tell them who's coming.
Yeah.
But after that, once they know you, they just know you.
Yeah.
Right. When you're using the bus as well, how long are you guys on the bus for?
Yeah, how
do you
long?
consider like that?
I mean, the
trip?
trips, the routing is pretty good. So the drives are never crazy.
Okay.
Right.
And
if
you have
it's
stops in between, or like?
He'll stop. It depends on if he needs gas or whatever. But if it's like a 5-hour drive, he'll stop. But usually,
Yeah, because there's
usually we just go
bathrooms
straight
in
through,
the
Bathroom
bus.
on the bus.
There's drinks, so you don't need to. If you want, yeah.
fridge, a little kitchen. I mean, there's no stovetop, but there's a microwave and I mean, it's got everything.
Yeah.
We stock it up, and there's a freezer. Like, it's great.
I feel like that's the way to do America.
That's
Because-
that's true.
I mean, it's what I always say about electric cars and stuff. I can't wait for them to be at the level where you can just get in, have your electric car programmed,
Yeah.
get in, maybe after a show or whatever, somewhere in Ohio, say, and your next night's in Boston, and just put it in the electric car and go to sleep.
Yeah.
And then wake up in Boston.
Yeah.
Like that would be that's a next step from having a bus,
Yeah.
a tour
Yeah.
driver and stuff. But I'd say that's the way to do it, because that's the most annoying thing to me is you get tired of checking your bags all the time.
Well, the whole going to the airport is a whole thing. You know what I mean? Like it's. I mean, you're wasting an hour of whatever it is that you could be driving or doing anything. Going to the airport.
I got to go to the airport on Thursday, and I'm already kind of thinking about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I gotta go tomorrow, and I'm like,
especially in this town, man. LAX is the most difficult, annoying airport to get to.
it sucks.
To get to and to like get to your terminal.
Yeah.
Yes, because it's a horseshoe, whatever. It's a real nightmare. But inside, but the big airports are always faster. Like the LAX line is always faster.
That's true. Like the
they're
little
fully
ones.
staffed.
Yeah.
Like I've had much like try to fly out of San Diego. There's one.
Yeah.
There's one security
and
gate.
the smaller airports are the ones who take it more seriously. Like the TSA people, they're like, they're like, it's like they think it's like FBI shit. And
They're
like,
real jobs.
come on, like just hurry it. No, you gotta take it off. And all they take so long. It's like, LAX is kind of like, all right, move it quickly. The bigger
they
airport.
do. They have that. They have that. We got to keep the line moving.
Of course.
As part of their responsibility.
Exactly.
Yeah. I just wish there was a way. LA must be the biggest city in LAX that you, when you land, you can't just jump on a train and get the hell out of the airport.
Well,
I've
yeah.
never seen a city.
Yeah, no, that's
true. And they're building.
You're always
supposedly one.
standing. Yeah, by the Olympics. So everything's going to improve by the Olympics. Everybody, so come to LA then.
Yeah,
When is that?
And there'll
Is that
finally be a
24?
train.
Or 28?
Is it 20? Yeah,
24.
Is
But
it
I know
26
that. But
or
also,
24?
well, no, because but the next World Cup is going to be here. The soccer World Cup, so it's gonna be probably
So
for
it'll be
that.
for that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're
why
gonna need
would
it.
they even want to have it here? Why would you want to have the Olympics in LA? Like it's already a nightmare. Like when
It's already
Boston
a tourism nightmare.
Yeah, when Boston was trying to get it, but it's not only is it already a tourism nightmare, it's already a tourism destination.
Yeah.
The town is already full.
It's
It's full of people who live here and people who want to come here.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Why are
shit.
you undertaking such a massive thing to get people to come here when people already
Yeah,
come
because
here?
usually it's for people that it's for cities that don't have that much.
They should
tourists,
do it
right?
in.
Could be,
I mean, if they did it, if they did the Olympics in, I mean, Texas politics suck. That governor's a fucking real piece of shit. But if they did it in Texas, then you could utilize the fact that Houston, Austin, Dallas, and San Antonio are all
Big cities.
reasonably near each other to have events at all the places.
Yeah.
I'm
That makes
surprised
sense.
Texas has never hosted one. I don't
But
know.
they don't want to. They don't want to do. They just flat out probably don't have the money
That's true.
to undertake.
To undertake the whole thing.
Right,
because
there's no state tax.
because
there's no
usually
state
it's
income
one
tax.
city.
There's no-
When they do the Olympics, it's one city.
Well, they usually host a lot of events in satellite places.
Yeah, but like the ones in London, like the London Olympics, they weren't all in London.
No,
it wasn't?
no.
Right,
They
you-
still had football. Football was still played in Birmingham.
Oh,
Like
okay.
what was the furthest
Manchester.
away? What was the furthest away place where something happened there? 2 hours, 3 hours.
I think Glasgow. I think even in Scotland they would have had a couple of football.
So they went
soccer
to a
matches.
completely different country.
Yeah.
At one
well,
point.
Yeah.
For a couple of the matches, I would say so.
Yeah.
Right.
And,
So
like,
you could do. You
could do
have
that.
it
Yeah,
in,
Texas.
Yeah.
You could do it in Oklahoma City and then use the stuff in Tulsa,
I think they
Wichita,
always
whatever.
use satellite, cities
Yeah,
and stuff.
always.
Like Calgary Olympics, I remember were in Canmore and stuff, and at London too. All the rowing, regatta or whatever, all that stuff. Some of it was on the Thames, which is in London, but some of it was out at Eton, which is that university that all the posh people went to, like Boris Johnson and all them. They all go to Eton, and that's what had all the the war canoes and shit like that.
The what?
Crew? Like crew? Like the paddle?
Anything that was rowing. A war canoe?
Like what's a war canoe?
It's like 10 or more people, I think.
But
It's
what?
like it's a regular canoe, but they have a different word for it.
Okay. But
Right.
why
It's like
do you
the
say
crew
war?
team.
Like for a war? Like,
I think that's the amount of people. Yeah, a war canoe I think is like. Well, I don't know. I can't. You know what? Somebody needs to look this up. I can't know how to define it, but it's like there's a 10-man and a 4.
No, I know, but what was it?
But you call it is like
like
are you
war?
saying like do they is this like a an English phrase
Yeah,
that
or a
means an amount
Canadian
of
thing.
people?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think that's the size of the boat. I think is called the war canoe, but I don't know. But I'm talking out of turn here.
It's probably like
10-man.
it comes from a time. I got to imagine. I'm gonna guess what this is, and then we're never gonna look it up, and this is what it's gonna be.
Yeah,
Which is what used to be
defining it
before.
now.
I imagine.
Oh, he found it.
Are you trying to show us?
I imagine there was a period of time whenever this phrase came from, where if you saw a canoe or a little, a
War's
kayak, whatever,
coming.
and there was one person in it, you were like, oh, it's the mailman or
They
whatever.
were the fish.
But if there was 10 or more people in that canoe, you're like, oh, they're coming to fight.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Why would there be 10 people in a canoe unless they're 10?
It's like a whole tribe is 10 people.
Yeah.
Like,
It's wartime.
so what?
Village. They're coming for our village.
Yeah.
Let's see if Tony, our
Let's assume that's
He's
right.
looked it up. He's gonna
Producer
come in and
sound.
tell us what a war canoe is.
Pretty much right. You're basically right. Like it could be used. Basically, it's for warfare.
Right. Okay.
Also for flat water racing.
but why is it called
Right.
a war?
It evolved into flat water racing from
Because now we don't fight
now,
like
now,
that.
Now when you put 10 people in a canoe, it's to race
Another
right.
Yeah.
It's you versus
It's a
Rutgers.
sport.
They're 10 and you're 10, right? We all go to Penn and they go to Drexel and we're gonna fucking get on the
it's
how it
Schuylkill
works.
and
It's like the bow and arrow. Like nobody goes like before it was like a war thing. Now it's
Yeah.
like, well, now I'm in the Olympics competing against another person.
I'm like, you did that so delicately.
Well,
too.
it's a game.
It's yeah.
well, I mean, he's obviously done it before.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
how you do it.
well,
Yeah.
this is my own.
Because they used
I only
to be
use a
called,
small arrow.
They used to be called battle sticks. And now it's a bow and
a
arrow.
little
So-
bow and arrow. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I'm glad we've all learned about the war canoe.
I'm
now.
working it. Well, yeah, that's your.
I mean, you're the one.
You're the one that brought
saying
it
it with no idea.
without even no idea. It's a war
Well,
canoe.
it turns out I was correct. We call it a war canoe. So
But think about this: like when they do have the Olympics here,
yeah.
we'll just remember, and then. So I'm sure that some of it's going to be in Orange County, some of it's
San
going to be way the
Diego.
fuck north, some of it's going to be out. Like
Exactly.
they're probably going to use. There's probably an arena in Ontario or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
that they'll use, and then you'll realize like, oh yes, this is. It feels different because it's all part of the LA Empire or whatever, so it feels different. But I bet it'd be easier to get from Austin to Dallas than it would to during the
true.
Olympics than to get from here to fucking SoFi or
Yeah.
whatever, or
Yeah.
Orange County or get down to the.
Yeah, I'd say so too. The infrastructure is probably like ready to go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they're
because
like, oh, but that's only 30 miles away. It's like, but it still takes 2.5 hours. That's how long it takes to get to Dallas.
Yeah. That's true.
Like, so it's all what it looks like.
Yeah.
So they can point to the map and be like, we're just going to use this, and it's like,
Yes.
well, you could do the state of, you could just put it in Nebraska,
Yeah.
Right.
and it would take the same amount of travel time
Of course.
to handle all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and instead it's coming to LA.
Yeah.
Right? And it's going to be a month where like everyone that lives here should leave,
yeah.
and then make your rent by turning your apartment into an Airbnb.
Into Airbnb or parking lot,
month.
I'm
rent
sure
a
that's going
parking
to happen
lot.
a lot
Yeah.
as well. Some people are going to see it as a good.
Of course,
making money
I
I mean,
Well,
you
they-
should keep your apartment because you could do your month, you could do your whole month for one night.
His whole
And then you
year. He
sell
could
it
do a
for-
whole
right?
year.
Totally true.
You could do 30 nights where every night you charge what your monthly rent is.
And you know what? And you would just move to a war canoe
Yeah.
in Echo Park.
Yeah.
Just stay there in a war
Get 8
canoe.
other people from your building and go rent one of these canoes.
Yeah, treat it like a houseboat. The houseboat Olympics.
And then so like have you with all this traveling, have you also traveled internationally?
Not really. No, I have not had the good fortune. I've done 2 shows in Canada, and that's it.
Okay.
Good experience.
place.
Then.
Yeah. Toronto and Montreal.
Okay. Nice. Big cities.
Just things I set up myself. Montreal was super cool to be in because it's the most foreign country place I've been. 'Cause
Yeah,
a
it's
lot
the
of their
most
signs are in
European.
French.
And it's very European.
It's
yeah.
very European, yeah.
Just seeing signs that weren't in English was a real fun. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is exciting. It feels fun.
Right.
It's
But
great.
I want to. I just don't. I've never had. I don't really know how.
Yeah.
I
well,
don't. until
His guy
You
can
just
tell
gotta
me.
start, meeting some You gotta meet some international promoters. I would
Yeah,
say.
yeah,
Start
yeah.
getting in some spots.
Because I think a lot of people I think now it's easier now to as a comic to do shows internationally because now it's like like you said, like now
Yeah.
there's some easier to connect with people. Like there's more people that that lived, like we had last podcast. John Hastings was doing the Edinburgh Festival, and he seems to know them a lot how to.
Yeah,
do
exactly.
it,
Especially in this day and age, a lot of people are scouting online instead of. So that's the great thing about being able to send somebody videos and stuff because we're no longer trying to get booked and then people say, "Well, come and do it for free."
Yeah.
Or do an open spot for me. Now it's like, can I see some of your stuff? We just need a couple of good clips. And they go, there it is. Can we do your?
Yeah, I can't go to London for free.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, you can't pop in and do an open spot.
I'm not necessarily going to hold out for breaking even.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go for free.
Nah.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to get some of it back.
Of course.
You got to be able to line up a few things.
Yeah.
Now, buddy, since we always like to ask our comedians that we have on, because this job requires so much traveling and stuff. When you were a kid, did you travel a lot, like out of Ohio?
No, we moved. That's
moved
what we did.
Constantly,
Oh,
right?
you
We
moved.
moved constantly. We didn't do much traveling.
Which that always kind of exercises the comedian muscles as well, because you had to meet new people all the time and
Just
be a
start it
smart
over,
ass
yeah.
to get a new friendship going.
Did you move around Cincinnati? Or
we did do that, but we moved to Cincinnati when I was 12.
Okay.
So I was born in Inglewood.
Oh, you were born here.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then lived in maybe 6 different places in California. And the ones I remember, I know I was born in Inglewood. I know my brother was born in Granada Hills. So I assume that meant we lived in both of those places. The first thing I remember is Camarillo. Then we moved to Turlock and then Stockton. There's a couple other places that I've been told about. I think I lived in Hawthorne when
What
I
were
was a
your
baby.
parents doing to be moving?
My dad
around
was a
so much?
minister, and I don't know. I don't know why that meant.
That he was on. That he was on the
Move.
run constantly. Is it a minister with a secret life?
Spreading the word. Spreading the good word.
Right? I mean, there's.
This is quite
So, this is
it's a good
amazing.
theory to have when you're the
Right.
kid growing up going. I
So
wonder."
it's non-zero. I don't really think he was, but it's still it's not for sure that he wasn't.
Right.
But even it's actually in a good way, a good ending to the story. He if he was, he killed all these people, but then he's and then he met your mom and he's like, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm gonna go.
I mean,
which
Cisco
is
puts the silver lining.
mean,
on it. And she made him. Stop.
yeah. So that's
No,
pretty
no,
cool.
no. It's not a good.
I mean,
I like what you're doing here, but they,
He's like, no, I'm not having it.
what psychologists would say is he found another outlet for his aggression.
okay.
Right.
Like he found a different.
So I was doing the Disney
different
pitch.
route to control. And also, everywhere we lived for about a year and then moved, and there aren't none unsolved murders.
Right.
So who even says he stopped?
Oh yeah.
It just the ones in San Francisco were all near each other and they were connected by the letters. So there was a big maybe what he learned was not to write letters.
Yeah.
Maybe he just kept going.
Have you
Maybe
run,
it's
you run this theory by anybody else?
No. But every time I say it, it does. It feels a little bit more real. Because when you try to find the holes in it, you start to realize there aren't that many.
Yeah. But there was never a thing when you're growing up and your dad gave you a look of your parents always give you that look of don't do that. And once you get home, he never get you a look of I'm gonna I'm,
constantly. He was kind of a dick. He was mean and
Oh, wow.
he was the level of anger he would show and express was in itself violent.
Right.
So he never he didn't seem like he definitely had that in him.
Yeah.
Like violence was
Well,
in
but
him.
my mom and my grandma. I mean, like my mom would like hit me when I was growing up. Not crazy, but like I could I mean, I would say the same thing. I'm like, yeah, I could see how she could have killed me. I'm gonna kill you, you know, like.
Yeah.
But you're saying it's different. Your was more like.
If I did find out he killed somebody, I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
Like here's like the biggest piece of evidence.
Guess we gotta move again.
It's not even evidence, but the biggest thing that supports it is I read this book.
I think it's supported by the fact that you can't actually think of another excuse or reason why we had to move all the time.
I mean, part of it, I did figure out that it seemed like he wrote 75 sermons.
Right.
And that was it. Because I started, by the time I got into like junior high, I was like, I've heard this one before.
Oh, so he just didn't have that much material.
Yeah, he didn't have enough material. He didn't want to keep writing.
Yeah, okay. So that could.
So that's possible. But it also is a good cover.
Yeah, of course.
You get that job as a minister.
I mean,
I guess we gotta move on because
it is the perfect cover to.
I read this book about I read this book about a LAPD homicide detective whose father was also in the LAPD and was a detective. And his father was obsessed with the Black Dahlia murders.
The Black.
And that was like the Black Dahlia murders.
Oh,
like
okay.
so he was like a real new cop when that body was found, and he was one of the 4 cops they stationed on the corner of that field to keep looky-loos away that day they found the body or whatever. So he thought his father that it was like a hobby case. Like these cops, when they leave, they take these cold cases or whatever, and they just spend the rest of their life obsessed with them. His father was obsessed with it. So when he retired, his father was dead. He was like, as a way to connect with my old man, I'm just going to start like investigating this case. And he eventually came to the conclusion that his father did it.
That he was the murderer?
Yeah, that his father wasn't trying to solve the case. His father was keeping tabs on how close the cops were getting to him.
Oh.
And I read that and I was like, that's fucking wild. What what if I knew something I just briefly entertained the idea.
Yeah.
Just solely because of this book.
Yeah.
And this is 10 years after I read all the Zodiac books.
Yeah.
When the Zodiac movie came out. Like I saw that movie once because I had to kill a whole afternoon. So I just went to the theater and was like, what is the longest movie?
Yeah.
And it was that's why I watched it. Then I read the books and I was fascinated with the Zodiac thing.
Yeah.
10 years before I read this book. So it wasn't like a grudge against my dad where I'm trying to besmirch his name. I read this book where this guy figured out his dad was, and I was like, that's insane. I can't imagine thinking your dad was a killer. And then I thought for like one more jump was like, if it was like, could he be? Like, what would it be?
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh my God, he was in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Like all of this, he was in San Francisco for 4 years before he met my mom, when the murders were happening.
it all comes together.
Right. I don't know anybody that knew him then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. Like his oldest friend
And what did
is
he
from
do
after that.
Was he still a minister when he was in San Francisco?
He went to San Francisco to go to seminary school
Okay.
or umpire school. He couldn't decide who he wanted to tell what to do.
Umpire?
And then he decided seminary school.
Wow.
That's funny.
And so then when that clicked, I was like, well, I should at least find out when he moved to San Francisco. So I called my mom. And I go, hey, when did Dad move to San Francisco? And she goes, why? And I go, I just said all that, but faster.
And she was like, it was after that night he came home with blood on his shirt, but I don't know.
Yeah, I go, I read this thing about this guy, and I just want to see.
Yeah.
And I was about the Dahlia thing, so I was like, did he live there when the and like if you called and were like, I want to see if my dad was a Zodiac killer.
Yeah.
Your mom would just laugh at you.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I said that, and my mom goes, okay, hang on a second, and set the phone down and went and asked him. Like it didn't phase her for a second.
Wow.
She was just like, let's find out.
Wow.
Then she comes back and goes, 1968, does that fit? And I was like, fuck yeah.
Wow. So did you ever ask your dad, like, hey, man, did you? Or
No,
like...
he was dead by the time when I read this book. He'd already died.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
I was like,
well, we're on to
he
something.
was alive when I read this book, but I never brought it up.
Yeah.
And then I kept thinking about it. And he also was like, he had like dementia a little bit, so he couldn't remember a lot.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
And I was just,
Or at least that's his cover up.
right, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Wow. That.
He never accepted the diagnosis.
Holy shit, man.
So he would never say he didn't remember. He would just be mad at you for asking him something he couldn't remember.
Holy shit.
Damn.
Well, buddy, man, This has been a real
What,
fun
so
chat.
did we
and,
solve the case?
We
We solved like
well,
no.
yeah, I think we found a new.
I think it's actually we didn't solve the case, but we have a great idea for a show for a movie. This is amazing. I would love to This
That's
is a
what we
great
should do.
idea for.
We should have
Right,
comedians.
Serial season 4 is
this
just
is-
her talking to me about where my dad lives.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
Or a movie about a son looking at everything. It's great. I don't know.
What if we find 100 more in every place I live? I lived
Yeah.
in Idaho, I lived in Washington, I lived in Illinois, and then Cincinnati. And then we moved around Cincinnati, but it was always a different jurisdiction.
Oh man, this is...
We never moved down the street or
think we've
around
got
the
the-
corner.
yeah.
We would move 2 towns over almost every time.
Change
yeah,
our
that's-
names for some reason, and
yeah. I don't even remember. This was just the one I graduated with. So this is the one I had when I got a driver's license. So I kept it.
so I stopped at that. Yeah.
That's great.
Oh man. Well, buddy, I got
Well,
a
first
couple
of all,
things I want to ask.
Well,
really
first of
quickly.
all, where you say you're doing shows in Brooklyn, August 13th and 14th.
Yeah, Union Hall.
So Union Hall. Where do people can find you if they want to go to see you? I mean, follow you, but also for information for your shows.
GeoffTateComedy.com is my website, and I'm at Geoff Tate on Instagram.
Okay.
And those are the 2 main places.
Awesome.
There's Twitter, but don't
Yeah.
even worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm fucking sick of Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't even go there.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a collective.
I
sickness
think
around
I think
Twitter
Twitter's
these
too the
days.
same thing. It's kind of like
Yeah.
I just have it now, but it's like
There seems to be a lot less politics and shit on Instagram.
yes, exactly.
There's a lot more just here's what I had for dinner, and not
And all of a sudden, that's a better thing, much better.
Yeah,
It's not-
yeah, it's much better.
Yeah. It's not as that's true. It's like
So
everything's
it's a more
like
positive social media.
exactly. You don't
experience
feel
than
like every
Twitter.
time I open Twitter, it's kind of like you're gonna feel bad afterwards.
Yeah.
It's kind of like McDonald's. You ate it, and you're like,
Yeah.
I shouldn't have eaten that.
Right.
It felt good in the moment, but now,
Now I feel like trash.
Trash. Yeah.
I fucking love McDonald's.
Yeah. I'm not saying I don't love it, but I always feel bad afterwards. I don't feel. I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have eaten that.
That's why you just eat it right before you go to bed.
Yeah, but then I wake up.
Well, then you're gonna feel shit at 4
Then
in the morning.
That's what I'm saying. I wake up in the middle of the night. I was like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten.
Yeah,
Yeah, but every time I wake up at 4 in the morning, I feel like shit.
that's true.
It's not always McDonald's.
Buddy, we gotta get out of here. But we like to ask our guests though. Are you superstitious? I want to know when you go on stage and stuff
Or
do you-
traveling.
Do you have certain stage wear or something that you need with you on the road to?
Or do you bring sentimental values with you just in case something happens?
I mean, not necessarily. I don't know for sure if I do. I have a routine,
Okay.
Okay.
but if I can't do it, I'm fine.
It's not gonna
Like, I'm
fuck you
okay,
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the routine if you don't mind sharing it?
It's just the order I do things. I like to. The last thing I do before I go to the venue is take a shower.
Interesting.
Like that's it. Like everything else has to be done before.
Right.
Like I try to plan my day so I never have to shit at the club or whatever.
Yeah,
or anything
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So no McDonald's before the
Yeah, no,
the shower.
not before. I like to shower, dress, and then leave.
Got it.
Just it's like a confidence thing of like this is the cleanest, right? Like I feel clean,
Yeah,
I feel
yeah,
good, I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
fresh,
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
and then I go.
Got it.
But that's it. Which
Yeah.
means that sometimes on the road, depending on what I'm doing, I'll take 2 a day.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Sometimes I take 1 in the morning and then go have my day. But I always that one doesn't count for the show.
Got it.
I see.
If I could do my routine, but if I'm busy, if we're going to the movie, if we're doing something or whatever, then
Yeah,
whatever. It's just
yeah.
20 minutes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just 45 minutes or whatever. Like I'll do. Because if it's a 2-show day, I do a lot less fucking around during the day.
So are
Right.
you? So because that's the thing that just quickly too, because some comics are from what we talked about. Some comics they like when they're on the road, they love doing shit during the whole day. And like for me, I'm the opposite. I'm like I like to kind of like be like. Like you said, if I have like 2 shows, I'm headlining those shows. I don't wanna do too much during the day that's gonna mess me up for the shows. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like kind of like either too tired or too whatever. Like
I'll even
so
try to take a nap if it's 2 shows.
yeah. So you're more like that. You're like kind of like take it, like use it. I like
Yeah,
what a
yeah.
work thing, like because some
But if
comics
there's,
are like
if there's stuff to do, if it's a fun town, I'll go
Yeah.
check that stuff out. I'll spend a couple hours outside of my room.
that's what I mean, but nothing like crazy. Like I'm gonna do a hiking for 8 hours. hours and then do a show.
no,
You know,
no.
like no, yeah.
Yeah, I like to have a little bit of a break.
Yeah,
Before the
yeah,
show.
yeah.
To like,
Get my head
center
together.
Yeah, yeah,
center
exactly.
yourself.
List, figure out.
I'm
figure
the
that
same
kind of
way. I
stuff
do
out.
my thing, and like I could take the shower, but then also like when I'm taking the shower, I'm going over the sets, what I'm gonna do, getting ready, kind of pumped up a little bit to get to the.
But as
in that
I
night.
get older, I find that like I want to do the post show things a lot less.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so that means that if I am going to do anything in whatever town I'm
Gotta
in,
be
it's
before.
got to be before.
Yeah, that is true.
So I don't want to, like, I used to just go to the bars until they close and then sleep until 2,
Mm-hmm.
then get some food.
Which I
and-
still do.
Yeah.
A little
Oh,
bit.
I can't.
I do it sometimes. but
Once in a while, but I can't do that.
you
Yeah,
got to shift it so
Of
it's
course.
not.
Yeah.
Because that's still fun, but it definitely, we're getting ever closer to the day where that won't happen at all.
yeah,
Like,
and then you can't function. Like if
Then
you
then
do
what do I
that,
do?
then you're fucked. Then you can't do shows
Yeah,
the next day.
especially when the next day's a travel day.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, you know.
God, this is gonna suck.
It's
I
a
mean,
diff-
I'm sure you've had it where you've done too much and then
Yeah.
had to do.
Ugh.
Like, I used to drink so much in Omaha that like Sunday, because the staff would want to go out, but they don't work every night. So the Thursday staff would want to go out, and
yeah.
the people who worked on Friday would want to go out. The people who worked on Saturday would.
Yeah.
That's 3 days in a row, and then I still got to do a Sunday where you're like, it's 8:00 at night, and I'm too hungover to stand up
Yeah.
at night.
yeah.
How am I? How,
Yeah.
what did I do?
You gotta mail in that performance.
Yeah, those are the ones where you go like, breathe in and fucking take everything so slow, and you're kind of like you're not moving that much. Just sitting, a lot
Put
of
2
sitting
stools
down.
up there, one for the
Yeah.
drink and one for me.
Yeah.
I'm sitting down this one. This one's gonna be real
Yeah, the
important.
sit down. I think that's why I think a lot of clubs started taking the Sunday out. I don't think that I don't see it that much. It's more
Because
just.
they were the hangover shows.
Yeah, I think we're like unless like you do have like like you're selling out and they
Yeah.
do it. But if not, I think they're like what, fuck it, because it's like it is a thing of like you go so much, you do 2 shows on Saturday and now you gotta do one on Sunday. It's kind of like you're like, oh man, I'm
Nobody wants to do it.
no, that's like the most annoying one.
Yeah,
Right.
do a Wednesday instead. or whatever.
Exactly,
Like,
exactly. Even or do 2 Thursdays if you want, whatever.
Yeah.
But,
right. Let us fly home on Sunday. It's
Yeah.
easy. It's easier to fly on Sunday
Yes.
than Monday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And also because Monday you gotta kind of like might have to do something that day when you
Yeah.
get back to whatever back to LA. I gotta go meet with somebody. It's like fuck, no, I can't do that shit.
They're getting a little looser with their. They're a little bit more like, oh, if you can just do Thursday and Friday, we'll get somebody else to do Saturday and Sunday. Like they are starting to figure out that they don't have to.
Yeah,
'Cause we did 50 years of Bud Freeman was like, we'll have a host in the middle.
yeah,
and a headline.
yeah,
And then for 50 years, every club was like, oh, we just do it like that. What
yeah,
do you mean?
exactly.
Why would we do it any different? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
Because whoever said this was the best?
yeah. Who you can
Yeah.
evolve,
They
supposed to
did it.
be-
They did
yeah.
it 3 comics a night because when he started, there was 6 comics in New York. What are you doing? You could do. You could have 2 set. You could have a host and then have 2 12-minute sets
Yeah,
and like build up your local scene and let them meet people or whatever. And then
Yes.
I pitched that to I talked to a club about that. They just don't want to do it because it's work. I got to do a little
Yeah.
fucking work. You're making a list, you fucking bitch. You're just making a list. But it's this business of full of people who wish and pretend that they're important,
Yeah.
yeah.
but they're not.
Yeah.
99% of you are just making a list.
Making
You're not
a list.
deciding anything. You're making a fucking list.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Very
a living.
true. Buddy, our last question for all of our guests on the way out the door is really straightforward. Do you have a favorite piece of travel advice that you like to give to people when you hear that they're
Oh yeah, this
on
is
the
pretty
road somewhere?
obvious, but I keep all the bin stuff in a separate bag. Like I just have
What do you mean the bin stuff?
like when you have all the stuff you gotta put in the bin.
Oh,
like,
for security.
yeah, like I
TSA?
have my tote bag.
Yeah.
and that's where I put my iPad and my speaker and my laptop and my toothpaste and my fucking mouthwash and stuff. Like I just put all of that into the tote bag so
Okay.
that right when I get there I can dump all that into the bin. And I don't have to go through I don't have to open my backpack or
Yeah.
anything. Like it's all
Right.
taken care of.
Got
I don't
it.
there's no zippers when I get to the line.
Yeah.
I just dump all that in. And when I'm like like I'll get to the airport like a normal person, but when I'm in line,
Yeah.
I empty my pockets into that bag. Like when it's my turn,
You're ready to go.
through.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
There's not a oh my watch.
yeah,
oh my
yeah.
I forgot about my
Yeah.
No, it's all done.
Yeah.
I am through.
And sometimes, which is, I'm the same way. And sometimes I get frustrated. Have to remember, because sometimes I get frustrated with people that don't do that. But then I have to remember, this might be the first time this person's traveling ever. They don't know.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm like, but sometimes I'm going like, come on, like, fucking, hey, like now you're doing, like you're seeing you're doing the line, and I'm, oh, I forgot that I gotta take out my thing, the water. I gotta drink the water.
Yeah,
you know, whatever I can just do. But sometimes I mean, that's my thing. Where I was like, I gotta remember, like most people.
No, everybody's got the experience you do. Man.
Or in the plane when they're fucking looking for the seats and they're like, come on, 27, go to the back. Why are you
you're
here?
in the back?
Yeah.
Get your thing in the top. Get out of the aisle. Just get out of the aisle. I don't give a fuck what else you're doing. Get out of the aisle.
Yeah.
Why are you still
When
in
they're
the
when they're
aisle?
fucking I hate when they're like coming in and they're in the aisle setting up their thing. It's like, wait till everybody fucking fills in and then do your shit, you know, like, but don't, like, just, you see a line of people waiting, and these people are going, like, taking all their shit that they're gonna wear, and I'm like, move!
Yeah.
Like, what the
And
fuck?
I've done my
Have
stuff
it a
off
little bit
immediately.
planned.
Yeah.
I don't even wait till I get to my, sometimes I don't even wait till I get to my seat to dump my, I just see an open thing and be like, I'll just put this here. I'll
That's
just get it
true,
on my
yeah,
way
I
out.
do. Yeah, you do it, and then you pick it up later.
Right, you put it up there. Everything that's in this one is these people's. If I'm back here, by the time I'm walking by, that my backpack
Of
gonna be the
course,
only one in there, and I'm gonna
exactly.
see it, and I'm gonna know it, and I'm gonna remember it,
Exactly.
and I'm gonna get it and go.
Yeah, exactly. And then you don't, because the worst when you go back, and then you gotta go back, and you gotta wait until everybody gets out so you can go back. What the
Yeah, it's
fuck?
so much easier because the people that are coming behind me, they don't have to wait for me to get my bag because they're right there trying to pull their shit out, slowing everything down. I'm clear.
Yeah, exactly.
We get it all figured out.
Yeah.
It's all about getting on and off as fast as possible.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And sliding into that seat as fast as possible with your headphones or whatever you needed, ready to go.
But I have it all almost. Like I have, like I got this little bag right here with the charging cords in it.
There you go.
And so if I got to charge my phone, I'll clip my headphones to this, and then all my books are on my phone. Like I just buy books on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't need anything.
Yeah. You're ready to go.
I got my music on my phone. I got books on my phone.
Yeah.
I'm just getting
you know
good to
what?
go.
I think you should. I would love to. Those videos that they put in the beginning of the flights to, like, hey, they tell you all the instructions. Like, you should be one of those and just just be like, hey, motherfuckers, hurry up. This is the thing. I got my clips, give me some money.
They should say that when everybody's waiting in the departure lounge too. Like, we're queuing up. We got number 1 and 2. You can come to the queue. Those of you who aren't in the queue yet, organize your shit.
Yes.
The stuff they teach you is stuff you're going to do one time.
Yeah.
Because if you survive it, you're never going to fly again.
Yeah.
They don't teach you what you should do
Every time. Exactly.
I've flown, I don't know how many flights I've taken. I've never put a mask on.
Yeah.
They tell me every time how to do it.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee you, I do that once.
That's it. That's your last flight.
Yeah. I am either dying on this flight or I'm going to survive it and never fly again.
The whole, like, emergencies door is like, I got it. Like, it says right there, I just got to push that shit. That's it. We don't need the whole
I got a bit about that because I always sit there and I 100% don't know how to open that door.
Yeah.
That door doesn't exist anywhere else.
Yeah.
And that's bullshit. That door, you should... The first time I'm going to ever open that door is that the stakes are going to be
Yeah. And also, that's another thing, too, of, like, you open the door so you can let people out. Nah, buddies. You're going out first. I'm sorry. Like, I'm like, I'll open the door, but...
And I'm taking my stuff.
Yeah.
I'm getting my backpack.
Yeah.
You guys, I'm going to be on the wing of the plane like, I forgot. I thought...
Yeah.
Oh, you meant even this bag? You meant everything. All right.
Just start throwing the shit out for them.
Right? I'll put it back on. You want me to go put it back?
Buddy, thank you very much
Yeah,
for joining
man.
us, man.
Thanks for having me.
That was
Thank you
fucking
for
awesome.
coming. Come, remember to subscribe to the podcast. Follow us on Instagram, Standby Podcast.
Yeah, and
Twitter.
look up Jeff's comedy as
And
well.
look up Geoff Tate's, and also remember to follow on iTunes, to subscribe, and to listen to because we need more listens on the iTunes so we can climb up the charts. So
yeah, and rate it and review it because that helps too.
that's true. Exactly.
Yeah.
Listen to him. Bye, hello.
Cheers.